Welcome to Nonsense, Season 3, Episode 66, our big story and our second show of the week. I'm Jeff Parker.
I'm Still.
This time we're looking at how University of California, Merced is harnessing the Golden State's canal network for clean energy. Up next.
Oh boy, we're talking about coal again, aren't we?
Actually, solar. That hot ball of gas in the sky, the one that's evaporating up all of our water. The folks at UC Merced have figured out how to do both, generate clean energy and preserve our precious water.
Oh, okay. So you burn the coal in the aqueduct to put the fire out? I guess that makes sense.
Do you listen to anything I say?
Did you know that identical twins don't have the same fingerprints?
Wow, it's going to be one of those shows. Okay, UC Merced's simple fix for California's energy and water crisis. Let's go.
I guess it makes sense. They don't have the same fingers either, right?
Less with the talking. Philanthropist Mackenzie Scott has made two significant gifts to the University of California, Merced, the most recent of which is the largest single donation in the university's history.
Ironically, she gave those gifts as Walmart gift cards. Had a whole team of people just scratching off the codes on the back the whole time.
Scott's recent commitment, announced this last Monday, December 8th, 2025, is a $38 million transformational gift. This follows a previous $20 million donation made in 2021. The total $58 million investment underscores the growing national recognition of UC Merced as a public research university and a leader in social mobility. UC Merced officially opened its doors in 2005, making it the 10th and newest campus in the UC system. You and I are both fans of California.
Sure.
Forget the UC system for a second.
Yeah.
Just the state broadly. We're both fans of California.
Sure.
In a moment, we're going to talk about some of the state's serious problems, but in light of Mackenzie Scott's incredible gift, I thought we should mention one of the state's most productive resources, the University of California system.
Oh, yeah.
I know USC grads that we are. However, you have to admit they have really
It
contributed.
is an amazing system. It is.
Yeah, it's been absolutely amazing.
I don't want to admit it. I guess technically, yes, it's true, but I don't want to, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I have been very vocal that I am a huge fan of Gary May, the chancellor of UC Davis.
Gary May is like a legit rock star.
Completely.
I didn't know much about this guy until you brought him to my attention. He's pretty impressive. First of all, he's an electrical engineer.
EE superstar,
Yeah, he's like an EECE superstar. Like, this guy is pretty amazing. He has a list of accolades that, like, when your Wikipedia page has sections, then you know that you've made it.
Oh, no, super smart, and what an amazing chancellor.
Yeah.
Listen to this. In 2019, UC Davis reached the top 10 in 4 national rankings of universities.
Wow.
And in 2024, the Wall Street Journal College Pulse ranked UC Davis the 3rd best public university in the United States.
The 3rd best UC system, I would have been like, wow, that's pretty good.
The 3rd best in the UC system.
That's not what they said.
Yeah, no, of course.
The 3rd best in the UC system, I would have been like, wow, that's pretty good, right?
Sure.
That's
a high
amazing.
bar. It's not much better than the UC
it's
system.
the
for
3rd
systems
best public university in the country, which is amazing. I just assumed it was all agriculture there. Apparently that's not the case anymore.
It's also a vet school.
Oh,
and that's actually the cliche from when I was a kid of what it was. There's actually tons and tons of other things there now. It's really amazing. It's
at
quite
UC Davis?
Yeah, quite a research institute.
I bet.
Chancellor May is just one of the many reasons the UC system is among the world's top universities, if not the top, operating 3 national labs and being a major engine for our state's economy and innovation.
Well, you know, it's California. We like to make stuff here.
We do. Think of some of the things that came from the UC system. Can you think of anything?
Oh, nothing good.
I'm going to start us off. Things that came out of the UC system. Now, you be nice.
Oh, boy.
1969.
Yeah.
3 miles from here.
Oh, I know where this is going.
The classroom is still there. The computer is still there that they did it with.
Yeah.
They connected 2 computers and made them talk. It was the beginning of the internet. They literally invented the internet at UCLA.
Yeah, okay, sure. That's what they say. But Andreessen said he made it.
Okay, your turn.
Okay, look, UCLA, not a big fan. Early research leading to the design and commercialization of the modern cochlear implant for the deaf or hard of hearing, which we've covered on this show, was conducted at UCSF.
Correct.
Well, that's good. So I got that one. You're not opposed to making people hear. Good. Okay, good. Finally, for something we agree on.
Yeah, sure.
Hearing's good. Okay, great.
That's amazing. UC Berkeley alumnus Douglas Engelbart invented the first computer mouse in the 60s, along with hypertext and the graphical user interface, things we hardly use today.
Granola-eating hippies. That's what those people in Berkeley are.
Simplified instruction set computing, RISC architecture. You know, I'm a big RISC-V fan.
You are a big RISC fan, yeah.
Which powers nearly all modern microprocessors, including all of those in smartphones, was pioneered at UC Berkeley.
What, like during a sit-in?
Yes, during a sit-in.
Berkeley. UC Irvine chemists, I believe, discovered that the chlorofluorocarbons,
Fun to say.
CFCs for short, were destroying the ozone layer, and that led to a global ban on CFCs. So that felt pretty good.
The positron emission tomography, PET scanner, a vital medical imaging tool that visualizes metabolic processes in the body, was invented at your favorite UCLA.
They probably stole it from somebody else.
The core technology for the revolutionary CRISPR-Cas9 genome editing tool was co-developed at UC Berkeley.
They were high, of course they did.
Okay.
What they do. UC Santa Barbara professor was one of the 3 scientists awarded the Nobel Prize for inventing the highly efficient and affordable blue light-emitting diode, or as regular people know it, an LED, which made white LED lighting possible.
Which is all the LEDs that we use now.
Pretty much.
Came out of UC Santa Barbara.
If it doesn't emit light, it's not an LED.
Cool.
And then,
well, no, there were red LEDs before that.
yeah, but it still emitted light.
But you couldn't make the white light. You couldn't make the white light until you figured out the blue one.
Sure. I understand how this works.
Okay. A practical process for reverse osmosis, the technology used worldwide for water purification and desalination, was first demonstrated at UCLA in 1959.
Boiling. They invented boiling water.
Okay.
Wow.
The UCs have created some cool stuff. The UCs are fantastic. When we talk about California's strengths, the UC system has to be at or very near the top of the list.
I love that I cannot give any props at all to UCLA, yet I'll let them deliver both of my children and perform numerous surgeries on me. I'm always certain to never wear any SC gear whenever I go in. I'm like, nope, going to just de-Trojan myself before I go in for my checkup.
That is true. UCLA is a giant hospital connected to a small school.
There's a small little, it's like a little vocational school attached to it.
One of the most important research schools on the planet, but yes.
Sure. Yeah.
California has lots of problems, though. Serious problems. We're going to talk about those, too. The California water crisis is driven by climate change and chronic over-reliance on a finite resource. The state experiences intensifying climate whiplash, swinging unpredictably between severe droughts and extreme atmospheric river floods.
I mean, I would argue we've got over-reliance on several finite resources, but a lot of people.
We got our water from the Nevada snowbank. Oh, yeah. When it doesn't fill up, when we don't get the snowfall, we get in trouble.
Well, I mean, we pull water from a lot of places. I think the majority of it comes from that snowpack. So when that thing doesn't hit, then you got a real problem.
And we get warmer temperatures and that water evaporates, and then we have less water for the state. And simultaneously, the state has severely overpumped groundwater, which causes wells to run dry, leading to land subsidence that damages canals.
I mean, next thing you know, I'm limited to taking 2-minute showers, and nobody wants that.
The solution requires a massive investment in recycled water, stormwater capture, especially for aquifer recharge, and modernizing aging conveyance infrastructure. Without this action, projected supply declines could cost the state billions and force the following of millions of acres of farmland. The core challenge is simple. Demand still exceeds sustainable supply.
Yeah, and we've done a lot to try to curb demand, yet it's still going up because it's a lovely place to live and more people want to be here. Never going to be a shortage.
And that's not even the problem. The problem is commercial. It's the farming. Sure. You have to have tons and tons. It takes a gallon of water to grow an almond. You know how many almonds we grow in this state?
12 to 15 every year. You kind of glossed over the aging conveyance infrastructure.
Yeah.
You know, that's a big word for pipes. And we've got really old pipes, right? Not just in this town, but the stuff that brings it here.
Sure.
And, you know, there's a bunch of my neighbors are certainly grumpy about the DWP when we have water mains that break often.
Pipes that are 90 years old in many cases.
Yeah. I mean, up by me, they're not quite that old, but you're still in the 60 to 70 years old. And also, I don't know if you know this or not, but the ground here moves a lot. So that's all problematic, right? These things do break. And I'm impressed at how quickly they get them resolved. Like it's an amazing feat to keep this water flowing to all of us here in the desert.
And that's like on a micro level. On a macro level, the big canals that are bringing us water are constantly in need of maintenance too. The water in California can't only be a concern to Californians though, because we are the producers of American agriculture. We are the top producers of all sorts of things: fruits, vegetables, nuts, cattle.
Almonds. I think we make something like 80% of the almonds in the world come from California. They should rename the almond the California. They all come from here. 4 out of 5 almonds that you put in your mouth come from California. That's insane.
We have this great Mediterranean climate, and we have this huge central valley that generates the largest agriculture value of any state, exceeding $59 billion annually.
The Mediterranean has a great Californian climate. That's what I'm going with. How many almonds do they make? Walnuts, pistachios, artichokes, olives, raisins.
The Golden State supplies nearly 2/3 of the fruits and vegetables consumed by the U.S., nearly 3/4 of the nation's nuts. Crucially, California is the sole domestic producer of many high-value commodities, including almonds, as you say.
Sure.
The production is highly diverse, spanning over 400 commodities, from leading dairy and cattle industries to wine, grapes, tomatoes, and lettuce. The state's food security contribution is immense, but it's increasingly challenged by water scarcity and climate change.
I mean, it is nuts that, like, when people think about California, even people that live here, that have lived here their whole life, you typically think about, like, entertainment, Hollywood. Maybe you think about Silicon Valley and the nerds up there.
We're the breadbasket.
You think about the Golden Gate Bridge.
We're the food.
But then you drive drive through the middle of the state, which does seem to go on forever. I mean, the 5 is basically a straight arrow to nowhere, and you're driving forever, and you're like, this is all food.
Yeah.
It's just all food the whole way up, from vegetables that are grown or nuts, huge dairy farms. I mean, everyone has been through where the magic In-N-Out is, right in the middle of all Cowtown. Smells terrible, but the In-N-Out's pretty damn good.
Man stinka.
Everybody I know always calls it Kauschwitz, which I don't think is the right name for it. I'm like, can I laugh at that? I don't think I can laugh at that. It's pretty funny, but I can't even think of the original name. I can't think of the actual name of the town. I just noticed Kauschwitz. It's where all the cows go to die.
Yeah, like the rest of the world, we also have a power problem, an electrical power problem.
We do.
California's power demands are surging, driven by aggressive electrification goals for transportation and buildings, rapid expansion of high demand sectors like data centers for AI. To meet its 2045 carbon-free mandate, the state needs tens of thousands of megawatts of new clean power.
And we're not going to get it from hydro. That's pretty unlikely given our hydro situation.
Lack of hydro?
Lack of hydro, as it turns out, is problematic.
Solar is the natural solution.
Solar seems to be the way to go, right? We've got a bunch of turbines here. There's a bunch of renewable turbines here.
Yeah.
But solar does seem to be the way to go.
We are sun-drenched. We are legendarily sun-drenched. So that kind of seems...
we're recording this right now in your backyard. It's 83 degrees out. It's December.
California is already the undisputed leader in solar capacity.
Yeah.
But a massive build-out of utility-scale solar farms comes at the expense of invaluable farmland, because you got to put it somewhere.
You got to put it somewhere.
As we noted, the California Central Valley is the backbone of America's food supply, producing nearly 2/3 of the nation's fruits and vegetables. But some California farmers have discovered that their land can earn more as a solar farm, which is a problem if you've grown accustomed to, say, eating.
Yeah. Well, you just eat the solar cell. But unfortunately, the economies right now are in such that in many places they can deploy solar farms as opposed to farming, and that land is not coming back anytime soon. It's going to be a solar farm for quite a while.
Sacrificing high-yield agricultural land for solar creates a profound food versus energy conflict.
Many years ago, my father-in-law turned off the internet at his house. He's like, we don't use it. We'll just use our phones. And I looked at him and I was like, if you asked me if I would turn off the internet or water, I'd have to think about it. I'd have to think about which one would be easier for me to live without. And it'd probably be water.
Also, do you know how your phone works?
Yeah, I understand.
Project Nexus, the solar-topped canals.
Yes.
Dr. Brandy McEwen and J. Elliott Campbell and others co-authored a 2021 UC Merced study covering California's 4,000 miles of canals with solar panels. It's a game-changing solution to the state's climate and water crisis, inspired in part by a similar project in India.
Yeah, well, I mean, first of all, when I read this and I was like, 4,000 miles of canals, I was like, that's a lot of string shoved into the jar. It's like, how do you get 4,000 miles in a state that's not 4,000 miles long? And then you realize, well, those canals don't go in a straight line. There's a lot of...
Exactly. They have to go everywhere.
There's a lot of canaling. Yeah, it's really incredible.
Turns out the whole state needs water.
It does. Every part of it. And where it comes from isn't where you need it.
Always.
So you got to get it from A to B. Yeah, this is fascinating to me. And as you were alluding to, this has been done several years ago in India. They have something like 80,000 kilometers of canals, right? Meandering through just one state of India, which is a lot of canals.
It's amazing.
And their state electric corporation in this territory of Gujarat, I'm sure I'm mispronouncing that. We'll get some angry letters. If they could convert 30% of it, they feel they could get 18 gigawatts of power.
Wow.
And save something like 90,000 acres of land.
Yeah.
Which is massive.
You already own the canals. You don't have to buy any new ones. You can just put solar panels on top of them and you solve a big chunk of evaporation problems.
Well, that's the other thing that's super interesting, right? That is not obvious. So when you put these things over water, two things happen. One, okay, you get less evaporation. I guess that kind of makes sense. But then also the flowing water underneath keeps the solar cells cooler.
Which makes them more productive.
If they're cooler, they remain more efficient.
Yeah.
Something of like 2 to 5%, which is not nothing.
Yeah,
that's a real number. And then you also get less algae growth. You get virtually, from what I've come to understand, almost no algae bloom.
Because you're in shade.
Because it needs the sun. If the sun doesn't hit the water, you don't get algae. And if you don't have algae, it's one less thing you have to clean and remediate from the water in the canal. So it really does seem like a win-win. The other thing that I read, and this was, they saw this true in India, as well as in the Project Nexus here in California. It's like, okay, these solar farms are cheaper on a megawatt basis than building like a coal or a gas-powered station.
Sure.
That seems intuitive to me. That seems to make sense. Solar certainly come down a ton in cost. What didn't make sense to me is that building these solar canopies over the waterways, it has a tendency to be cheaper than building them on land. And I was like, that can't be true, because you've got like some trussing, you've got to deal with, getting to them over the water. The reason it's true is because what you said earlier, you don't have to buy the dirt.
Yeah.
And you got to factor that in. You already own the quote dirt, which is the canal here, which is really fascinating. So you've got less CapEx and then you get higher OpEx, because now in theory, you're getting 2 to 5% more power just from having the water flow underneath it. And you don't have to clean the canal. I was like, wait, this is just like a win-win.
You do have to maintain the canal, so you have to engineer engineer it such that you can get to the canal to do whatever engineering, because canals do break. You do get leaks and problems and issues. Back to California, covering large sections of California's 4,000 miles of canals with arrays of solar panels could help conserve water, reduce air pollution, save land, and generate clean energy using existing land and infrastructure. It could generate 13 gigawatts of clean energy annually, roughly 1/6 of the state's current solar capacity, about half the projected new capacity needed to meet the state's goal of reducing greenhouse gas emissions by 40% by 2030. That's enough new electricity to power Los Angeles for 9 months of every year.
Well, yeah, and 13 gigawatts, that's enough to power 10 flux capacitors. It was like 1.2 gigawatts. You could almost get 11 out of that.
Is that right?
Yeah.
The study also found that solar on canals could reduce land use by up to 50,000 acres because solar arrays will be placed on existing infrastructure. And as you said, the shade from the panels will save 63 billion gallons of water annually, enough to meet the residential water needs of about 2 million people. That's everybody in San Francisco and San Diego combined.
That's everyone that's on the 405 right now.
Okay.
Their water needs could be met. That's pretty impressive. You're getting power and water savings, and enough for, basically power for, like, roughly speaking, 4 to 5 million people, and water for about 2 million people.
Yeah, it's a game changer.
That's pretty impressive.
It's significant.
It does seem like a game changer.
The idea is live right now. They've got a $20 million pilot project, which is spearheaded by the Turlock Irrigation District and UC Merced. The project is already constructing solar arrays over canals and will integrate energy storage to stabilize the grid. That is to say, your solar power will not just be wasted when you make a lot of it during the day. You'll actually have enough you can save so that you have electricity at night.
Yeah, these are these large battery deployments that they put alongside or typically near the generation points so that they can charge them up, charge up basically large lithium-ion battery stores, and then release it back to the grid later in the day when you don't have as much sun, you've got more demand.
And when you say large battery, what you're talking about is something that almost looks like a small warehouse. These things are huge.
They look like oversized containers. Like,
container cars. Yeah, that's a better way to say
it. Like 20 to 40 foot containers. Yeah. And these things look pretty cool. I've looked at a couple deployments. There's one in like up near Santa Barbara. There's one that's going in at Phoenix that I want to check out. They are pretty massive. These things are doing hundreds of megawatts, in some cases low gigawatts of power storage. It's pretty cool. And they claim, I don't know this, but they claim to have something like 2 decades of lifespan, which seems pretty impressive to me. Whereas my iPhone 16 Pro
barely gets 2 years.
Lasts like 6 months, right? And then it's like the battery's toast. I'm like, cool. Yeah. Now what?
Another cool thing, the high voltage power lines often run along the same state or county owned rights of ways, meaning they're running over those canals or near those canals.
You already have power there.
So it couldn't be easier and cheaper to link the electricity to the grid.
Totally.
California's first solar covered water canal is up and running. We already have one up and running.
Yeah, this is impressive. And this is like a 1.5 or 1.6 megawatt installation that's running.
Fully completed a few months ago. Yeah. $20 million state-funded pilot turned stretches of the Turlock Irrigation District's canals into hubs of clean electricity generation in a remote area where cotton, tomatoes, almonds, and hundreds of other crops are grown. The pilot program is powering several thousand homes right now.
So you figure that's about $12 million per megawatt. I'm assuming that is a very high number just because I haven't done this before, right? Like you're starting somewhere.
Because it's a pilot. Yeah. You're experimenting. They're doing a lot of testing and experimentation, including like how high off the water to place the panels. Obviously, the lower you get the panels to the water, the cheaper they are to install because you don't need quite so much infrastructure. Yeah. And it gets closer to the cooler water, which makes their efficiency go up. But you lose a lot of canal maintenance convenience.
For perspective, according to the internets, typical cost for like a nuclear power plant, which I think is one of the the lower ends of cost for clean, quote, clean power, is anywhere between $2 to $20 million per megawatt. So this is at least in that window. And I suspect that number is going to go down. I suspect this number, because it's a pilot program, is much, much higher.
The solar panels Jimmy Carter put on the roof of the White House still work today.
Haven't been taken out?
No, they've been long taken out. Reagan got into office and he took them off the roof immediately. But whoever owns them now, they can still generate power. So you have so much latitude in the cost of this because it doesn't have to pay for itself over the course of 7 years like anything else. You can extend the payoff. It's going to produce electricity for at least 30 years. California's solar canal system was built in 2 phases. The little test piece that they've done with a 20-foot wide stretch that was completed in March and a roughly 110-foot wide portion.
110 feet wide. That's crazy.
That's impressive. Finished at the end of August. And then now researchers will study the project's performance over time with a new initiative led by California universities, and the company's solar aqua grid will push fast-track deployment of solar canals across the state.
Yeah, I just feel bad for for Tommy. He's the guy they put on that had to go into the canal 110 feet and hold the little stanchions so they can bolt it up. Okay, buddy. This is pretty impressive that they're able to build this. I mean, I don't think this is an easy challenge.
Especially those wide parts of the canal.
Totally. Yeah. I'll put some links in the show notes, but you can see some of the renders and some of the pictures, and it looks really impressive. Like I still think there's a lot of challenges around how they're going to keep it clean so you can keep it efficient.
Keep the panels clean.
Yeah, you want the cells to typically always face south if you can to get maximum utilization.
Sure.
And I'm pretty sure the actual canal doesn't really care about that. It's going to kind of, zigzag around and back and forth. They figured out a solution to still get optimal output out of the panels, which is pretty cool.
You can keep the panels still facing south, even though the canal zigzags.
Yeah.
The duct curve, we got to talk about the duct curve.
Yeah.
This is always an issue with solar because we have oversupply of solar power in the daytime. Yeah. Last year, Californians lost out on 2.6 million megawatt hours of electricity, enough to power all the households in San Francisco for a year. We lost out on it because we just had no place to put it. But we are putting in tons of batteries that will take care of this problem. So it's not really a reason to slow down installing solar.
I mean, they've got this figured out. There's several companies that are doing these large grid-based battery storage solutions. It looks pretty compelling.
California Governor Gavin Newsom put it well. No other state in America comes close to California solar production. And now we're adding more batteries faster than ever to help capture that energy to use at night.
Yeah, I mean, we're well poised. We should always be the leader in this. One, not just because it's renewable and we think it's the best solution we have.
We're drenched in sunshine.
With a lot of sun. Yeah. You can't be like, hey, Illinois, why don't you catch up? And they're like, have you been to Illinois?
Although Germany is way ahead of us in all of this. They made some tax incentives in Germany so that if you put solar panels on your roof, you get some benefits.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've been to Germany. It's like being in Portland. It's cloudy a lot.
It's gray. It's cloudy.
They have tremendous amounts of solar production because of the quantity of solar panels they've deployed. It's really impressive.
Yeah. But even when it's sunny, the Germans are still great people.
Like the rest of the world, California faces many challenges. Our university system will continue to be at the forefront of solutions.
Well, that's kind of the most impressive part. Like we do have some of the, I'll call them unique and relatively hard challenges, but we also seem to have a whole lot of bright minds here that are solving them. And that's why I'm like, oh, sure, you want to leave the state to go run your business elsewhere? Okay. You're still going to be using the benefit of California and especially our institutions that are here. Like you're going to be building on the back of those. There's no way around that.
I'm a firm believer that there probably is no better college system than the UC system.
Yeah, the UC system especially for its size is amazingly impressive. That's been able to scale up that big and still be this good. And that takes a lot for me to say that.
Oh, I know. It pains you. It hurts you.
It does.
USC is part of this program now too. They've included a number of other universities who are part of this research.
Yeah. But our role there is try to figure out how to cheat. It's the best way to, like if you need to falsify some numbers or something like that, that's where they bring the SC folks in. Yeah, let's pump those numbers up a little bit.
All right, we have to get out of here real quick. Before we do, have you seen or read anything good this last week?
Well, yeah. So in my research for this, I came across the Alabama Gates occupation of 1924. Do you know what this is?
Sure. It was a picnic.
It basically was a picnic. Yeah. So it was a non-violent seizure of the Los Angeles Aqueduct, right? This is in 1924.
Sure.
They controlled the gates just north of Lone Pine and basically just dumped a bunch of water into the historic Owens River, which had been sort of dried out.
It was like 11 years after we put in the aqueduct.
Yeah, exactly. It was like just shy of 11, 12 years after we put in the aqueduct. Yeah. And they had something like 700 to 1,500 residents just came and had a picnic effectively to show sort of solidarity with these occupiers that seized this. And that led me to this really interesting, it's like a self-guided audio tour, like a car audio tour called There It Is, Take It, which is, of course, the famous Mulholland quote.
He was quite a speechwriter.
Such a great set of lines. It just does what it says right on the tin right there.
Yeah, that's all he could come up with. There it is, take it.
That's all he could come up with. There it is, take it. But it's this self-guided audio tour that runs along US Route 395. So this is a road that I'm on quite a bit because it's how I get into the Sequoia. So this runs up like anybody who's ever driven from LA to Mammoth has taken the 395. Sure. It goes up through like Lone Pine, through Bishop, all the way up to Mammoth and then Mono Lake past that.
Driven it many times.
Many times. Yeah. So really neat audio tour. It's free. It's about 90 minutes long. They've got stories of the aqueduct told from multiple perspectives and viewpoints through voices of historians, biologists, activists, native speakers, environmentalists, litigators, LADWP employees, and then residents from both LA and Owens Valley to sort of shed light on the mutual past, present, and possible future of these two very intertwined California regions. And this story is a really interesting story because
super cool.
For those that don't know, LA, when it was experiencing its growth around the late 1800s, early 1900s, they started buying up a bunch of land there and not telling anyone that they were buying it up. They bought the land and the water rights to be able to pull this down. And this created quite a big impasse.
I think the city of Los Angeles is still the largest landowner in the Owens Valley.
I think it is, yeah, which is kind of crazy to think about, that we have this giant chunk of land that we own up there just for the water rights to be able to get it down here.
Sure.
And at the time, by the way, that was providing something like 2/3 of our water.
Yeah.
It was a significant amount of water. I believe we've since diversified that.
It's down to like 1/3. It's still a real part of our water supply.
That's a real part. Yeah, for sure. It's pretty crazy. So anyway, it's a very interesting documentary. I'm not all the way through it, but I started listening to some of it. And even if you don't drive the 395, I think this is worth giving a listen to, especially if you're in California. They have a map that is awesome that shows the whole map. And if you're ever up this way, it's only a couple of minutes off of the 395. You can actually go see both aqueducts, right? There's two there. I take pictures with my kids, and it's crazy because you can see it from the freeway and you're like, oh, it's not that big. And then you drive up to it and you're like, oh, this pipe is 8 feet round.
Oh, yeah.
And you don't really appreciate it
water
until you see how big it is. It is an enormous amount of water. And it's really, it's an engineering marvel. It's a modern day engineering marvel.
And you're right. The first one is a giant siphon. It doesn't require any pumping.
It's basically a giant siphon, which is really cool to see how this works. It takes the potential energy from the bottom and just pulls the water all the way through it. It's really incredible that it works. Every time I'm there, I'm like, what if I just drill a hole right here? Sure. What happens? Somebody come running? Like what?
I get a nice drink.
A bunch of air starts whistling. Exactly. Then it's like the opening of the ark, like the ghost of Mulholland comes flying out of it and rips my face off. Anyway, super interesting. It's called There It Is, Take It. I'll put a link in the show notes. It's really fantastic and talks about this topic even more. How about you? What have you seen or read this week?
I'm going to call it this week. Your recommendation is better than mine. And mine is great.
Okay, hit me.
1974's Chinatown, the ultimate cinematic statement on California's water system. Control the water, control the future.
Yeah.
Disgraced detective Jake Gittes investigates a simple case that quickly unravels into a sprawling murderous conspiracy in 1930s Los Angeles. The villain, Noah Cross, isn't just seeking wealth, he's plotting to build dams and divert the public's water. By secretly buying up the dry valley land during a manufactured drought panic, he ensures his vast holdings will become priceless once the water flows. The film is a chilling, fictionalized neo-noir take on the real-life events of the early 20th century, where Los Angeles acquired water rights from the Owens Valley to build the Los Angeles Aqueduct, allowing the city to boon at the expense of the Owens Valley area. Chinatown, with a library card, you can stream it for free through Canopy and Hoopla. Also available on Paramount Plus and for rent on every major streamer.
I mean, Chinatown is an excellent movie. It had like 11 nominations. I think it won at least one.
Such a good movie.
I mean, it is fiction, right? It's not all entirely true, but it is very closely tied.
It's not even close to true.
But it like represents the events shortly after they happen, which I think is fun. It's inspired certainly by reality. I don't know if I'd say mine's better. Chinatown's really good. Really good.
Yours is pretty great.
Well, I'm going to go watch it again because I haven't seen that film in a minute, and it's a great flick.
That is the episode.
Thank you for joining us for all this nonsense, truly terrible podcast from our awful company. Visit us on the web at nonsense.productions. I'm CJ Little.
I'm Jeff Parker.
If you like this program, please follow, download, subscribe, and like at Apple Podcasts, YouTube Music, Amazon Music, AntennaPod, iHeartRadio, Spotify, my favorite Overcast, or wherever you may get your podcast from.
Nonsense is brought to you by the Ice Water Council. Nothing quenches thirst like a nice tall glass of ice water. Also, be sure and try our environmentally friendly tap ice water. All the goodness of ice water, locally brewed. Ice water, delicious.
Oh, I see what you did there. We're going to get so many letters from the Owens Valley on this one.
And we'll send it back a free sample.
We'll be every Tuesday and Thursday mornings for more nonsense. Please join us.
The aqueduct is an amazing piece of engineering.
You cannot appreciate the scale of it, though, until you see it. Because, you'll park and you'll be like, oh, I'm going to walk to it. It's over there. But because you have never seen a pipe this big.
You walk for the rest of your life.
It's like a half mile away. Yeah. You're halfway there. And then Moses is sitting on a rock being like, I'm not going any further. You want to go? You go.